In the heart of the galactic station, a place teeming with beings from countless star systems, humans were often overlooked. The Thranex Collective, towering insectoid creatures with glistening exoskeletons and reputations as supreme strategists, looked down on the peculiar hairless primates from Earth. To the Thranex, humans were laughably fragile, barely worthy of recognition in the grand tapestry of interstellar species. Today, however, that indifference morphed into open disdain. "You humans are amusing," chittered Commander Vexi, his mandibles clicking rhythmically. "But it is time to prove your place, or lack thereof, in this galaxy. I, Commander Vexi of the Thranex, officially challenge you to a test of endurance and intellect." The announcement echoed through the station's central plaza. Aliens of all shapes and sizes gathered, their bioluminescent eyes and shifting appendages focused intently on the unfolding scene. The challenge was a rare spectacle, and bets were already being placed on the Thranex's inevitable victory. Captain Morgan, the de facto leader of the human delegation, adjusted her uniform and narrowed her eyes at the pompous insect. "A challenge, huh? What kind of test are we talking about?" Vex's mandibles twitched smugly. "A series of tasks requiring unparalleled strength, precision, and mental acuity. Naturally, we Thranex will dominate, as we always do." The alien crowd hummed with anticipation. Spectacles of this nature typically ended with humans fumbling their way to humiliating defeat. Commander Vexi thrived on such displays. Morgan folded her arms, unimpressed. "And when does this little show start?" Vex's multifaceted eyes gleamed. "In precisely one galactic cycle, just before your planet's midday meal, I believe." A subtle groan rippled through the human contingent. Pre-lunch challenges were universally dreaded back on Earth. The combination of empty stomachs and rising blood sugar levels tended to bring out the worst in people, even in the best of circumstances. Morgan sighed. "You know, there's one thing you should know about humans." "And what is that?" Vexi scoffed. "Never mess with us before lunch," she muttered under her breath. Ignoring the warning, Vexi signaled to his aides, finalizing the terms of the competition. Morgan glanced at her crew: engineers, scientists, and security officers, all looking equally peeved by the unfortunate timing. Lieutenant Tran, ever the joker, leaned toward Morgan. "You know we're all gonna be hangry, right?" Morgan smirked despite herself. "Yeah, Tran, I know. Let's just hope we don't start biting the Thranex instead of solving puzzles." The challenge was set, and the stakes were clear. Commander Vexi and his kind believed they were on the cusp of yet another easy victory. But there was one factor they hadn't accounted for: humans might be flawed, unpredictable, and occasionally ridiculous, but hunger had a funny way of sharpening their focus. Morgan cracked her knuckles and grinned. "All right, team. Let's show these bugs what a bunch of starving humans can do." The humans gathered in their temporary command room, a utilitarian space filled with blinking monitors and holographic displays. The mood was tense, not because of fear, but due to the growing chorus of grumbling stomachs. Hunger gnawed at their focus, and it showed in the way they fidgeted and muttered among themselves. Captain Morgan paced at the front, her sharp gaze scanning the group. "All right, you all heard the challenge. Strength, precision, and mental acuity. It's their playground, but that doesn't mean we're playing by their rules." Lieutenant Tran leaned against a console, arms crossed. "Mental acuity before lunch. Bold move for bugs that don't even need snacks to function." A few chuckles broke the tension. Humor was one of humanity's greatest survival mechanisms. Even when facing superior alien species, a well-timed joke often leveled the playing field. Morgan nodded. "Exactly. They think they're unbeatable because they've never faced a hungry human. Let's use that to our advantage. What are our assets?" Dr. Patel, the team's engineer, tapped a holographic display. "Their tests are likely based on linear problem-solving. If we think outside the box, we can outmaneuver them. Remember the Mars Colony Relay Challenge? We bypassed the entire circuit by using a signal relay on an old drone." Tran grinned. "Ah yes, the solution that technically wasn't legal but got the job done." Morgan's eyes gleamed. "Creative problem-solving, our secret weapon. Thranex brains are wired for efficiency, not chaos." Chaos is our specialty. Patel's fingers danced over the hologram. I can rig some adaptive algorithms for the tech challenges. It'll be messy, but messy wins. Morgan clapped her hands together. Good. What about the physical component? Sergeant Alvarez, the muscle of the team, spoke up. They're strong, no doubt. But they rely on brute force. We use speed and unpredictability. Fake them out, wear them down. Morgan nodded. Perfect. Now, let's talk strategy. We'll tackle the precision tasks first while our energy is high, then move to endurance. Keep communication open and stay adaptable. Tran smirked. So, in summary, think crazy, move fast, and hope lunch is waiting when we're done? Morgan grinned. Exactly. As they finalized their plan, a palpable sense of determination filled the room. Hunger may have been a nuisance, but it also sharpened their focus. The Thranex had issued the challenge, but they hadn't counted on the unique stubbornness of humans. Morgan straightened her posture, her voice steady. Remember, they think this is a game they've already won. Let's show them why underestimating humans is the oldest mistake in the book. Patel added with a smirk, and let's do it fast. I'm thinking tacos for lunch. With renewed energy, the team stood ready. Hunger might be gnawing at their edges, but it had transformed into something sharper, resolve. The challenge commenced in a massive arena, its walls shimmering with advanced Thranex technology. Spectators filled the stands, their alien eyes glimmering with anticipation. The atmosphere hummed with tension as the first task was announced, a test of precision involving the assembly of complex energy modules. The Thranex team moved with mechanical efficiency, their multi-jointed limbs snapping components into place with flawless precision. Their leader, Commander Vexi, watched with smug satisfaction. On the human side, Dr. Patel led the charge, his hands steady despite the gnawing hunger twisting his gut. All right, folks, remember, messy but functional, he muttered, guiding the team through the chaotic assembly. Lieutenant Tran's voice cut through the din. Pretty sure I'm just connecting wires at random now. Good, Patel shot back. Keep it unpredictable. We're not here to win beauty contests. As the timer ticked down, the Thranex completed their assembly with a flourish, their modules gleaming and symmetrical. The spectators buzzed in approval. Then came the human side, wires protruding at odd angles, components barely holding together. The crowd's amusement was palpable. But when the modules powered up, the Thranex displays flickered while the human units hummed steadily. A murmur of shock rippled through the crowd. Morgan grinned. Function over form. Classic human move. Vex's mandibles twitched in irritation. A fluke, he declared as the next task was announced, an endurance trial across a series of gravity-shifting platforms. The Thranex leaped onto the platforms with grace, their exoskeletons adapting seamlessly to the changing gravity fields. The humans, however, stumbled at first, their bodies struggling to adjust. Sergeant Alvarez barked out commands. Center your weight. Use momentum, not brute force. Gradually, the humans found their rhythm, their unpredictable movements making them harder targets for the shifting fields. Alvarez led the charge, dodging and weaving with remarkable agility. One Thranex warrior miscalculated a jump and tumbled off the platform, much to Vex's visible frustration. Morgan's voice crackled over the comm. Nice work, Alvarez. Keep them guessing. The humans pushed forward, sweat glistening on their foreheads but determination in their eyes. The Thranex, despite their initial dominance, began to falter under the sustained effort. As the task concluded, both teams landed on the final platform, but the Thranex were visibly winded, their movements sluggish. The humans, though breathless, exchanged grins of triumph. The final task was announced, a mental puzzle requiring rapid pattern recognition. Vexi sneered. Now you will see true intellectual superiority. The Thranex dove into the puzzle with methodical precision, their neural processors firing at full capacity. Morgan leaned over to Patel. Got any tricks left? Always, Patel said, activating his algorithm. The holographic patterns shifted unpredictably, forcing the Thranex into constant recalibration. The humans, accustomed to chaos, adapted quickly. Their puzzle board lit up first, signaling victory. The arena fell silent before erupting into stunned chatter. Vex's mandibles quivered in disbelief. Morgan smirked. Told you not to mess with humans before lunch. The arena buzzed with stunned silence, the holographic scoreboard flickering to confirm the humans' victory. Commander Vexi stood rigid, his exoskeleton twitching with disbelief. The Thranex, champions of countless challenges, had been bested by what they considered a primitive species. Captain Morgan dusted off her hands, breathing heavily but grinning triumphantly. Her crew gathered around, their faces flushed from exertion but glowing with pride. Lieutenant Tran broke the silence. Well, that was educational. Patel laughed through gasps of air. Educational? More like borderline insanity. But hey, we won. Sergeant Alvarez cracked his knuckles. Those bugs were tough, but they've got nothing on a motivated human. Morgan turned toward the still-shocked Thranex leader. Good game, Vexi. You almost had us there. Vex's mandibles clicked furiously. Impossible. No species has ever outperformed the Thranex in both physical and mental trials. Morgan shrugged. Guess there's a first for everything. The alien spectators, initially dismissive, began murmuring among themselves. Respect, however reluctant, flickered in their eyes. Even beings from distant worlds understood the significance of an underdog victory. Vexi straightened, his voice strained but formal. By the terms of the challenge, I concede defeat. The Thranex acknowledge your unexpected capabilities. Morgan extended a hand. After a brief hesitation, Vexi clasped it with one of his clawed appendages. The gesture was awkward but symbolic. As the crowd began to disperse, Morgan turned to her crew. All right, team, you know the drill. Tran grinned. Lunch. Lunch, Morgan confirmed. The mention of food reinvigorated the group, their exhaustion momentarily forgotten. Patel wiped sweat from his brow. I don't care what's on the menu as long as it's edible and copious. Alvarez chuckled. I'm thinking double portions for a double victory. As they made their way toward the station's mess hall, Morgan glanced back at the arena. The Thranex warriors were regrouping, their pride bruised but intact. A few of them even watched the humans with a newfound curiosity. Morgan's voice carried just enough humor to lighten the mood. Let that be a lesson to anyone watching: never challenge a human before lunch. Bad things happen. Tran laughed. Think we just added a new rule to intergalactic diplomacy. Works for me, Morgan said, her grin widening. As they entered the mess hall, the tantalizing aroma of food filled the air. Plates piled high with dishes from various planets awaited them. The crew dove in without hesitation, laughter mingling with the clatter of utensils. Victory was sweet, but nothing compared to a hard-earned meal after proving humanity's worth to the galaxy.